Hey everyone, welcome back to Dark Souls Remastered playthrough on the Switch. Um, Last time we went through the beginning of the game, created a character. Here's Mr. Ridley. Went through the Northern Undead Asylum. I'm sorry, you'll never see any other type of Undead Asylum, but um, it's technically the Northern Undead Asylum. Anyways, we made it through, beat the Asylum Demon, and made it back here to, not back here, we've never been here before, but we were at Firelink Shrine, talked with the Crestfallen Warrior over there. Yeah, so that's where we left off last time. We're back at camp, right here. If I press B to rest at bonfire, you'll notice that my Estus flash come out and the bottom left corner went from 5 to 10. There are special bonfires that are automatically kindled to a degree because there are actual fire keepers at this one, and the fire keeper for this one is down below. So if you encounter a fire that actually has a fire keeper at it, it will automatically restore your Estus flask use to 10. Otherwise, for the time being, we can kindle other bonfires and get them up so that they go up to 10, but that's as far as they can go until we get a certain other item in the game. But as you'll notice in the menu here, we have other options besides leave. So we have level up. This is where we can level up. Kindle, like I was talking about before. If I press enter, it cannot kindle while hollowed. Talk about that in a second. Reverse hollowing. Can't do that because I don't have any humanity either. So I think we did get some anyways from the first boss. But and you'll kind of notice that we're hollowed because my face just looks great right now. Definitely different from what I had when I created it, and you'll know when you're hollowed too, because in the top left corner where it has 00 next to it, if it's dark gray like that, it indicates that you are hollowed. However, if it is white and lit up, that means that you're actually human again. So in order to reverse hollowing, we just need to use a humanity, so that number up there goes from 0 to at least 1, and then when we reverse hollowing, it'll go back to 0. So it's basically an inventory of how much physical hollow or humanity that you have on hand, on your individual person. So level up, so we can go ahead and level up. You'll see the amount of souls, we have 2340, required souls 724. So we can go up a few levels. So I'm going to level up endurance and vitality a little bit. Maybe. Is that what I want? Yeah, we're good. We're good for that for now. As you can see, when you increase vitality, your HP. Okay, so let me go back down. I got ahead of myself. When I increase vitality, you notice that my HP goes up, and my physical defense and some other defenses go up slightly. Usually your defenses go up every time that you pick something. So vitality increases health. Attunement, after you hit a certain threshold, it allows you to have more than one attunement slot. Right now we have 0. Because we don't have enough, but once I get to 10, you'll see over on the right it goes from attunement slots 0 to 1. This is so that you can hold magic in case you want to use that. So magic and faith, or not faith, Jesus, miracles and pyromancy. So they all kind of run off of that. Endurance. This one's pretty important. So besides vitality doing HP, endurance allows us to use our stamina. So when we increase that by 1, it goes from 95 to 97. Equipment load also increases along with the defenses and everything. So defenses usually go up always, but these other ones, of course, I think I probably already said that, so I'm repeating myself. But this one's pretty important. So and it kind of got botched a little bit in later games and broken up. But endurance, yeah, allows you to increase your stamina so you can have more stamina in your meter, and the equipment load will go up by at least 1. That's pretty important. So later on in the game, of course, we're going to acquire armor that's a bit better each and every time. you know, and it's going to get kind of heavy, so we'll want to increase our equipment load so we'll be able to carry it. And there's some other ways and rings and items that allow us to actually kind of circumvent that equipment load number, but for now, you know, pretty important to use. Strength, of course, this will increase the strength of the weapon that we're using, so this one's kind of iffy, but what I mean is, so when we did this, of course, we go up by 2, 92 to 94, and the L weapon 1, 62 to 63. Shields can actually be used as weapons in this game. They do have an attack power, however, it's strange if you do use it, so, well, I mean, that's the whole point of the game. It's strange for a lot of weapons, but yeah, usually you don't use shields as a weapon, but it does have the capabilities of being used as one if you so choose. But it's not gonna the attack power is not gonna go up by, you know, a certain increment every single time, and that just depends on the weapon that you're using, because each weapon has its own type of scaling bonuses, so that'll help determine how that actually goes up. If I de-equip that weapon like R1, so like R weapon 2 and L weapon 2, they would be the numbers that you show, that you see that since those would be unarmed, so of course they don't go up because there's no weapons to, you know, that gets a bonus. So strength doesn't do anything for those because it's just our bare fists. But yeah, so for like this, you'll notice each time strength has a scaling on the longsword and the shield that we're using, but dexterity also increases the weapon that we're using, the longsword, but but the shield doesn't have a scaling bonus with dexterity, so it's not actually going to get that bonus of going up. So most weapons have a usage where they'll have a stat requirement of certain strength, certain dexterity, and sometimes they'll have like an intelligence and faith requirement as well. Those are that's a little, you know, usually that's for magical weapons or items and stuff like that. There are some weapons in the game that require all 4 stats to boost. That would mean that it's a quality weapon, which means that, so certain builds that you do will be based off of, you know, you usually want to pick a certain stat that you want to level up more than anything else, because that's the type of build that you're doing. So melee people will probably always have a strength or dexterity-based builds, where they're going to increase those stats, you know, more than any other. But a quality will kind of try to level it so that, you know, sometimes your strength will go up a bit, but you'll also want to keep your dexterity up as well, your intelligence and faith too. The problem is that when you spread it too thin, or you're going to run into an issue where if you do too much quality build, the required souls increases every time that you level up. So it's one of those things that right now it's okay if you do that, but, you know, later on in the game, when you've got to devote thousands upon thousands of souls into just one level, you know, and you've got a quality build where it's like strength, dexterity, intelligence, and faith are all at 20, well, now you're going to run into a problem, because now you're not doing very well in damage-wise, because you're just kind of in the middle of the road, you know, for everything, and trying to increase that stat kind of sucks. And in Dark Souls 1, there is no way to respec your stuff, so unfortunately you're kind of stuck with these levels when you choose them. That was fixed, not necessarily fixed, but changed in Dark Souls 2 and Dark Souls 3. I don't know if they do that in Bloodborne either, but whatever. So yeah, dexterity and strength, these are mostly for melee weapons, you know, to get up your requirements and everything. Resistance, if you notice that, your actual stats, like your defense, increase a little bit more. It also increases poison resistance. This is a dumb stat, because honestly, defense is not that valuable in this game. I mean, it's still valuable, you know, more than anything, you want to have equipment on. You don't want to go bare bones into a fight, because 9 times out of 10, you're just going to get one shot by certain enemies, because they're just going to do a crap ton of damage. So it's always good to at least have some sort of armor on you. And in this game, and in Dark Souls 2, it's actually possible to level up your equipment. Dark Souls 3 and Bloodborne, they just said, yeah, once I got that armor, it is what it is. And defense is just kind of there. It doesn't help as much as you think. But, you know, in this game it helps out a little bit, but it's still not the most important thing in the world. Now, certain pieces of equipment that you'll get, you know, increase physical resistance, but they might be lacking on certain other defenses like fire, magic defense, lightning defense, as you can see in the middle row down at the bottom. There's also blood resistance, poison resistance, poise, curse resistance, that sort of stuff. Anyways, resistance stat doesn't help very much because it's just increasing everything by one more increment than it normally would if you did a level up. And honestly, that's a garbage stat to unload stuff into. So most players will actually probably leave that for last to upgrade more than anything. You know, because otherwise there's pieces of equipment to upgrade your blade resistance and your poison resistance and curse resistance and that sort of stuff. So intelligence, this is for casting spells. The more intelligence you have, the more you'll be able to cast spells. They'll do a little bit more damage, and certain spells require higher intelligence. And of course, like I said earlier, certain weapons also, like physical weapons, require intelligence to use, and faith as well. These are for miracles. So humanity is going to be at 0. I will go back to what I said originally before my rant of stuff. Increase vitality to 13, endurance to 13. That's a good stat spread for now. We'll hit accept, confirm reinforcement. Okay, good to go. I can't do anything out of here, so I will exit out and that sort of stuff. So you'll notice just a slight boost of stuff. Anyways, done talking about that. Go ahead and go to this body. It's got 3 humanity. Yay! I don't really care about unhollowing yet. So when you go back to human, it allows you to play online against other players. You can get invaded and stuff like that. It's also the only way that you're able to summon NPCs in the game. So if you're hollow, NPC signs don't appear, but if you are human, they will appear. It also allows you to kindle, like the game said earlier. But every time you die, you will, when you get back up, you will not be human anymore. You'll be hollow. Any amount of humanity that you have in your in the corner up there will go back to 0, and then any souls that you have will be left behind as well. Now, of course, you can run back to where you died and actually pick up all that stuff. So when you pick it up, you'll get back any of the humanity you had in your counter and any souls that you had in your counter. However, picking up your stuff doesn't automatically make you human again either. So once you die, you automatically lose, you know, you aren't human again. So you would have to go back to a bonfire, use that humanity again to become human, and lose out on that stuff. But right now, it's okay to be hollow. And if you want to stay offline, before I started, I switched it offline so I don't get invaded or that sort of stuff. But otherwise, you'll also be able to see like people's signs and stuff on the ground. Yeah. So just gonna walk around a little bit. So we've got like this watery area. There's like a giant door on the ground. There's also some spooky, scary skeletons down here. Let me try to fight them for a second. I'm gonna go do some cleanup here. Oh god. This area is kind of no joke. As you can see, I'm not doing a whole lot. Oh, shoot. Did not mean to equip. Oh. I went up here. I didn't mean to do that either. Oh, sometimes you get too close to everything and then you get confused. There's some items to get around here. I don't really feel like fighting the skeletons right now. We're not very well equipped. So, oh, here he comes. They're still coming. So enemies like to keep going. Also, there's some fall damage, so you've seen that as well. Goody good. Oh, okay. He's gonna keep on fighting. I think the other skeleton went away though. I don't want you down there, because so if an enemy gets near the bonfire, it does go out, so you can't just rest at the bonfire the instant an enemy's there. However, if somebody's chasing you and you go to rest at a bonfire, they will reset too. So just to, you know, just one of those things. Just showing some combat here, but you know, this game is a lot of just kind of, you know, you want to play defensively, so you don't want to go around and start swinging rapidly, unless even when you think that you're going to win, there's probably a good chance that if you try to do that, you're going to get screwed. So, but there, I won that fight. That was good to block all that stuff, and we got some extra souls for it. But there are some items down there. I'm not gonna worry about it right now. They're nothing too big. There is a Zweihander, and the binoculars are down there as well. But and there's some other stuff. We'll get to it when we get to it, so it's not that big of a deal. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go up here, and we got some of these armored fellows over here. So the skeletons that we fought back there, if you kind of noticed, they were pretty resistant to our sword slash. So certain enemies are they are more resistant to certain weapon types. So swords and that sort of slashing and thrusting don't do as much to skeletons. However, if you have like a strike weapon, like a club or a hammer, those will do more damage because they're actually weak to that sort of stuff. So, just a tidbit. And a lot of these enemies don't have any poise. So poise determines like your super armor. So what I mean by that is that, oh, that guy just barely got that without getting hit. This guy's throwing some fire bombs. So poise, the deal with poise is that it determines your super armor. So when you swing your sword and stuff like that, you know, if you don't have any poise, an enemy will hit you and then you'll just get interrupted. And that's never good. There we go, that guy's down. So like every time I was hitting that guy, it interrupted his attack. So really he doesn't have a whole lot of poise. So that's where that comes in. So like if you're wielding like heavy equipment and you're wielding like a heavier weapon, you want more poise, because a lot of times you don't want to get interrupted because your weapon swing is kind of slow. So, you know, you're trying to swing your weapon and you get interrupted because you don't have any poise. That's never good. So for like right now, I have slight poise because I believe the helmet is what gives it to me. But certain, usually medium armor and heavy armor will automatically give you some sort of poise. There's a rat. I'm going to take care of those because they can poison you when they bite you. Longsword is a pretty good weapon to use. I know I'm just kind of jumping all over the place, but there's a lot of stuff always going on. Longsword is a pretty good weapon to have at the beginning of the game, or actually throughout all of the game, really. If you wanted to, we could do the most bare basic builds and be like, yep, this is the weapon I'm going to keep for the rest of the game, because it's just generally all around pretty good. You can level this sucker up and it'll still carry you for a while, because it's got a decent moveset and all that sort of jazz, but that's not fun. So, I think I'm probably going to end up with a slight quality build, but I think with the weapon choice, I'm probably going to lean more towards dexterity with what I want to do. It's just what I'm thinking about doing, at least. But, you know, nothing's set in stone. It's oh, son of a bitch. It's all kind of determined by... Yeah, thank you. Thank you, sir. It's all kind of determined... I think it's kind of determined by what weapons I'm gonna get. But the couple of the weapons that I'm thinking of using are, for the most part, just... are dexterity-based weapons. Where another one, if I do get it, I might consider using it, and that is actually a strength, but still. Oh, we'll see. I haven't 100% decided. I thought about it a lot, but I think about it too long. So One of the weapons I'm thinking about using, I've used it previously, and it's a super duper awesome weapon. Like, just in general, it's so good. It's so good. But I was like, yeah, I don't know if people want you to, you know, Dark Souls, you kind of want to do, it's not always about comfort, I guess. You kind of want to broaden your horizons a little bit, but at the same time, it's also like, whatever. It is possible to get over this gap. I've tried to do the jump before. I don't think that you can do that jump. There's a way to do it from like the rough and everything, but I'm gonna go back here. And, oh yeah, we're in the Undead Burg, by the way. I forgot to mention that. So if I go down here, get a large soul of lost undead. If you kind of noticed earlier, there was some. Well, there's that asshole. He's hanging down the ledge. This is basically a trap of sorts. So they want you to. Okay, buddy. Gonna take a swig. Oh, man, that doesn't do a whole lot. Yeah. Also, you want to roll into barrels. Because rolling doesn't degrade like your equipment and stuff. So every time you swing your sword and everything, you end up like degrading your stuff, like your equipment and shields and stuff like that. But rolling prevents that from happening. So just a tidbit. Roll when you can, and kick and do that jazz. There was that one undead. Did he try climbing up? I think he tried climbing up. Nope, yep, he is. He's trying to follow me. You're a little off, bud. There you go. There you go. Thanks for playing. Oh, excuse me. I knew that was gonna happen, but oh, okay. There, you do that, so you can knock him off too, so we don't have to deal with that bullshit. Okay, don't gank squad. Nope. Oh god, that's not good. Oh man, that's a bad attack. I thought I was in deep shit. See, these guys, when there's more than one of them, it's in bad times. That guy had some rubbish. That thing is pretty much useless because it's rubbish. And somebody else died. I don't know why. I think somebody tried to do stuff and then they died. Yeah, so that soul item that we got, it was pretty much worthless because, I mean, it's not worthless. So any of those, like, lost undead souls and whatnot, you can pop those for souls. They're basically items that you can use to get some souls when you need it. Like, if you're at the point where you're like, boy, I'm at a bonfire, but I don't have enough to level up as is. You know, that's a good item to use. Because then you can just get the souls and be good to go. There's your humanity. Okay. Ooh. So if you run, in order to do a run and jump, you'll want to do run, and then like at the end of your run, hit the A button again in order to actually do the run. So you got to like hold it down while you're running, then quickly let go, and then tap it again in order to run. It's kind of hard because everything's kind of like mapped to the same button and everything. I think that was more or less fixed. Didn't want to proceed too quickly. There's the Hellkite wave. It's Hellkite dragon, though it is a wyvern, because a wyvern doesn't have any arms. Its wings are its arms, whereas a dragon actually has, it's more, it has 4 legs, or you know, an arm, a leg, and actual wings. So just tidbit for that one. Oh goody, we got Mr. Sword, Mr. Bow and Arrow. So yeah, this game is a lot of defenses. You gotta wait until people are opened up in order to be able to actually, you know, get what you want out of it. Where it's like, wait for it, and then he exposes himself. They do shit like that, where it's just like, hopefully this works, and you can never hope to accomplish that fast a movement. I'm getting really tired of your crap, Gumble. Yeah, crossbow, take him out. Everybody builds a crossbow much more effectively than you ever will. Yes, so you can use a bow and arrow in this game and a crossbow. Crossbow is okay if you're locked on. I'd rather use a bow and arrow. I really would. Okay, these guys are jerks because they constantly had their shields up. They're basically like trying to show you, hey, we've got spears. Spear wielders like to hide behind shields because they can actually stab you with their spears while their shields are up. But I didn't do it. You can wait for them to do stuff like that. But you know an effective way to knock out their spear? Or knock out their shield? Oh. Not that. You know an effective way to knock it out? Oh, he's trying to do it too. So yeah, the enemy is not as dumb as you think. There we go. Do the kick, and they're exposed. And of course, I got him into a corner where my weapon bounced. So basically, I just pissed him off at that point. Ooh, we got the Hollow Soldier Helm. So yeah, certain enemies will drop equipment pieces, you know, that they have on them. Lock on, please. Thank you. Oh, God damn it. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Boom. There you go. Basically, so you can do that to any enemies that can hide behind their shields and stuff like that, or if they try to use their weapons to hide behind stuff, you know, just knock their asses and that'll throw them off balance. And they will actually try to do that to you too, so don't hide behind your shield too much or you'll be in for a real fun time. Because they're jerks. Yeah, yeah. Be aware that anything that looks breakable, there's a potential that some guy like this guy is sitting behind there, ready to ruin your day. Good times. Sit, Ulu, sit. Good dog. Okay. Yeah, this is Gang Squad written all over it. That guy's trying to go. I'm not sure why. Anybody else wonder why? There you go. Nice good old stab. One headshot. So usually your R2 button will do a lot more. Oh yeah, I forgot to do this. So X, or if your PS4 it's triangle, whatever your top button is, this allows you to switch to two-handed mode. So you can't use your shield. However, you can try to block with your sword, which is stupid, unless you're using like an ultra great sword, which will actually do somewhat good stuff, but this also changes your moveset. So instead of doing stabby maneuver, now I'm doing wider swing with the R2 button and stuff like that. It also consumes more stamina. But yeah, it's one of those things where you're just like, yeah, I can use that and get going. You know, it's pretty good if you're like, okay, the shield isn't gonna work anyways, and you're using like a larger weapon, you can two-hand it. And that way it won't be as big of a problem. So here we are. We're on top of the roof where we saw that bridge on the other side that was broken. That I said you really can't make the jump, but you can if you go up here. Oh God! I thought I was gonna roll off. That would have been bad. It wouldn't have been super bad, but it would have been entertaining. Anyhow, so we jumped off, got up here, keep going. Rolling. There is an item. I don't think that anybody is here. Light crossbow and standard bolts. So yay, we can use a crossbow. Crossbow. I was gonna say crossbow. This is my first day talking. Oh goody. Okay. So we got that stuff. We're good to go. I'm gonna go back to that one area because there is a merchant down there. He's a pretty good early merchant just because we can get some valuable stuff from him and we beat those turtle shielding assholes. So I'm going to use it to my own advantage. So instead of going this way, we're going to go out here. I also want to mention with the D-pad, you can actually switch out your stuff. So if I press down on the D-pad, you'll notice the Estus Flash is flashing. If I had other stuff in my menu, it would disappear. Right switches out your weapons, whatever's in your right hand. So because I don't have anything equipped, it switches to nothing. But of course, if I hit it again, it switches that. Same with the left hand, does that sort of stuff. Up top, that's usually reserved for your miracles, spells, pyromancy. So if you have more than one like attunement slot for that, you can switch that stuff out on the fly as well. But I always like to disengage my weapon just in case I don't accidentally hit something and hit the NPC and then he gets pissed off and starts attacking me because I want them to be an NPC merchant and then I don't have to go to a certain other NPC that has to reduce your sin and make them non-hostile again for the Rack of Souls. How about we just don't punch anybody or kill anybody because I didn't mean to do it because my damn fucking finger hit the button incorrectly. Anyways.
Well now, you seem to have your wits about you, hmm? Then you are a welcome customer. I trade for souls. Everything's for sale.
Okay, so here we go. We can purchase item, talk, or leave. Let's just talk to him for a second.
Things are getting treacherous in these parts. A horrible goat demon has moved in below. And up above, there's that humongous drake and a bull demon too. If you stick around this place, it might end up being your grave.
He's giving us some flavor text. He's referring to the bosses of this area. So we've got a bull demon, which will be our actual first boss coming up outside of the asylum. There's the drake that went by, and then down below, yeah, we'll get to that. But Undead Burg actually has 2 actual bosses, and then the drake is not considered a boss as it doesn't have a boss health bar when you fight it, but it's pretty beefy and it is very, very annoying and it is very killable. And if you can kill them or kill it, you know, more power to you. But we will get something from him anyways. Purchase item. So we've got some repair powder. This repairs equipment or weapon equipped in your right hand. So if you use a repair powder, whatever's in your right hand at that moment will get repaired. That's okay for now. If you need to use it, it's kind of nice to have on the fly. So in case you're running around for a while and you haven't used a bonfire, or you haven't been to a blacksmith to repair your stuff, it's pretty good to have because sometimes enemies will kind of degrade equipment a little bit earlier. There's an enemy in particular down in way late in the game. I think it has some sort of acid breath that reduces equipment integrity. It's whatever. So throwing knives, these are okay to use. They're pretty cheap too. You can use throwing knives to not only hurt people, but it kind of draws the enemy's attention to you. Be like, I just need to draw one enemy out of a crowd of 3. You can throw that knife at him. It'll hit that guy. He'll be like, hey, who just threw this knife at me? And then start to investigate. Fire bombs. These are good as well. Not like the black fire bombs that we got. These are normal fire bombs, or I guess at the intro said STD bombs. So you know, whatever. Gotta get hit by that crabs. But no. Anyways, firebomb. These are pretty nice to have. You know, you can throw these at an enemy, and it does splash damage. So, and if an enemy's is weak to fire, this is good to have. You throw it at them, gets burned with fire. And if there's a group of enemies, you know, you throw it at one enemy, and the splash damage will hit the ones around him as well. Lloyd's Talisman. Prevents Estus recovery within a limited area. So this is more useful for PvP, player versus players, so that you can prevent people from using their Estus flasks when they get hit by it. You basically just toss the item. You can lock onto them, toss it at them, and if it hits, they get like this cloudy glow, a white cloud around them of sorts that they can't recover while using it. There is another purpose to this item as well. It'll come way later in the game, though. But otherwise, you know, normal builds, or if we're not going against players, it doesn't really serve as much of a purpose. Dried finger should only be used in the greatest of caution. This is a PvP item as well. This, when you use it, it actually causes other players to invade you more. So if you're like, come at me, bros, you can use this item, and everybody's like, hey, this guy used a dried finger. I'm going to invade him more often. Orange guidepost, signstone, rate, view, rate messages. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and purchase this. There's only one, so once you get it, that's the only one you need. It's completely gone after you do that. So yeah, we'll do that. Okay, so we've got a couple of things. Oh boy, these are too much for right now. There's the residence key opens residences in Undead Burg, and then there's the bottomless box as well. Box allowing inventory management and bonfire. So once you get this item and when you rest at the bonfire, you'll get an inventory management area where you can actually set some stuff in there. So you don't have it clogging up all your stuff while you're trying to skim through. Because sometimes you'll be out on the fly and you're like, I need to switch weaponry, and because you can't pause your game, and when you go even in the start menu, you'll still be, trying to siphon through all your items and stuff, and you're trying to run at the same time, and you can't see what the hell you're doing, and there's too much crap in there. It's good to store a bunch of your useless crap that's on hand into this bottomless box, so that doesn't happen. So instead, you're like, I just need 3 weapons. Store everything else in the box. You got your 3 weapons. It's easy to sift through. Residence key. There's certain doors in this area that need the residence key to open up. Even the master key will not let you go through certain doors. So residence key, that's pretty good to have. There's a door right outside that actually requires it. And then the repair box, tool for repairing weapons, armor at bonfire. So normally you'd have to go to a blacksmith and they can repair your equipment and stuff. The repair box, though, will let you do it every time you rest at a bonfire. And then, yeah. And then he does sell some weapons, a dagger, short sword, scimitar, rapier, hand axe, a club, reinforced club, spear, short bow, east-west shield, small leather shield, buckler, leather shield, heater shield, which we already have, so we're okay with that. Warrior's round shield. And so if I press the Y button on here, it kind of shows you better stats. So as you can see when I show this, damage reduction over along the side. The heater shield has 100% physical damage reduction, 30% magic. Fire is 70, which is pretty good. Lightning is 50, not bad. Stability is 55. It requires 8 strength. That's the little arm symbol. Next to it, the hand is dexterity. The stick is your intelligence. And the star is your faith. Durability, 250 out of 250. Weight is 2.0. The leather shield, see how those numbers change. Fire's not as good. Lightning's a little bit better. Magic's slightly better, but it's only 5% physical. So every time you get struck with a weapon, it only reduces 85% of that damage. The buckler, once again, different stuff. These are more for parrying shields. The warrior's round shield, it's made out of wood. It's shit. Don't worry about it. Dagger. So if you want to do some critical damage, you can use a dagger. There's a short sword. Scimitar, if you want a curved sword. Rapier, you can actually get these relatively soon. There's an enemy that drops them. This is basically all thrusting damage, so you can see the attack tells you what type. So that one says slash and thrust. Our longsword is considered that as well. So the normal R1 is slash damage, but when we use the R2 and do the stab, that is considered thrusting damage. Short sword is regular and thrust. Maybe slash is. Anyways. Well, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just regular for longsword. Longsword's regular and thrust. Maybe slash is, yeah, either way. So scimitar doesn't have the ability to stab at all, so it just has slash damage. Rapier, on the other hand, just does thrusting damage because a rapier you don't swing, you stab. Hand axe is regular. Strike damage with a club, so these would be useful for skeletons. Reinforced club is a better club. It's a lot less durability, but it requires more hand-arm strength. It also has a bleeding effect onto it because there's little barbs at the top. It's like a nail, or it's like a board with a nail in it. Spear is thrusting because it's a freaking spear. You gonna try to swing that spear? You ain't gonna do a lot. Short bow, always good for dexterity builds. As far as I'm concerned, I think it's good for any build because even if you can't effectively use a bow, you can still use it for long-range combat. And there's the abilities to change the type of bows that you, or the type of arrows that you have. So you could go around and just start poisoning people, shoot some fire. Instead of using your daggers where you kind of have to aim manually or lock on to use them effectively. Bows, you can draw people's attention. You can headshot people with them, which will kind of knock them off balance. Oh, I'm yawning. Sorry. East-West shield, that sort of stuff. He also tells you he has the bows and stuff on there. That's pretty cool. Standard arrows, those are pretty good. Large arrows. They don't have as long of a distance, I believe. They have shorter distance for large arrows, but they do more damage. And wooden arrows are cheaper than standard arrows, and they do less damage. Wooden arrows are basically, as far as I'm concerned, I use them more because they're so freaking cheap. They're only 3 per one. I mean, you could easily get like 999 of these. Even the standard arrows too, but still, the wooden arrows are. I like to use these not as much for damage, but to pull people in more than anything. So, standard bolts, these are used for crossbow. Heavy bolts, they're like the large arrows. They do more damage. Wood bolts, kind of like the wooden arrows, more or less to draw attention. But you kind of notice that the arrows and stuff, they don't. I would say that like all of this sort of stuff, you notice that like the bolts do more damage. The problem with the crossbow is that unlike a bow, where you get like to go into like a first person mode of sorts and you can aim the bow like in whatever direction, crossbow doesn't have that ability, at least in this game. So yeah, it doesn't offer very much in the way of stuff. Anyways, oh boy, I'm getting tired. He does sell some armor. This is chainmail armor. This is the stuff that the Crestfallen Warrior is actually using, excluding the helmet. So, in case you need some armor that does not, you need something with a little bit of poise. That one offers 5 poise. That one's 9 poise. Leather gauntlets, they even offer some poise. So this will give you some poise and gives you a little bit further defense than maybe some of the other choices that you made, at the beginning of the game, like the sorcerer class and that sort of stuff, if you're having problems. Fortunately, in this menu, it doesn't show you all that sort of stuff. So I'm going to go ahead, and I've only got 1455, so I'm going to use this on the residence key for now. So we got the residence key, that's good. I'm gonna buy 5 fire bombs as well. I kind of want like the bottom. I want this sort of stuff, but that's gonna require some grinding and people, and I do want a short bow so I can fire some arrows as well. But I'll talk to him a little bit more.
I'm not here to chit chat. We talk business.
I just bought some shit from you, dude. Shut the hell up.
I'm not here to
Whatever. Fuck off. Anyways.
Thank you kindly.
Yeah, he's a little out of it, maybe because he's undead. You notice he keeps padding his barrel. What I think. So he actually has a weapon that if you aggro him, he uses. He actually has the Uji Katana. It is possible to kill him now, and if you do kill him, of course you don't have a merchant, but he does drop the Uji Katana for you to use. So it is one of those things that if you want to lose out on him being a merchant, you can get the Uji Katana as an early game weapon, and it is actually pretty effective. Katana-based weapons are pretty good for dexterity builds. The problem is that they don't offer very high durability, so yeah, you have to use them sparingly, or unless you want to be under constant threat. I'm going to go down here real quick. So I used the residence key to open up this door, otherwise it doesn't do anything. Maybe I'm wrong. No, it's another door. So we got the wooden shield, that doesn't make any difference. I'm telling you, the heater shield right now is pretty good for what it is. This will carry you for a while. It just looks like shit. I'll just be honest. If you're looking for fashion, it's a frickin' shield that's been dented for a while. It looks like it's been through a lot. It's not very big. It weighs not a whole lot at all. but it offers 100% physical resistance, and you saw that 70 for fire. That's pretty good for what it is. I'll probably once I find something else, I just do it for the sake of fashion and everything. But by no means, if you don't care about that, pretty good shield to have throughout for a good portion of the game. There are some larger shields that will offer a little bit better protection, but for now, pretty good for what it is. So if I go in here, this is our second bonfire. I'm gonna go ahead and rest. I don't have enough going up, unfortunately, but so yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna call it quits for now, but I'm gonna go ahead and actually kind of grind a little bit in this area so I can go ahead and get some souls to get some of that other equipment, and I might show just when I get back, maybe the next episode of this, I'll show actually me buying that sort of stuff. Otherwise, you know, you've seen it, so we've already showed the merchant, but otherwise, I'll talk about it next time. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and do some grinding off screen, gather some souls from around this area. Won't progress any further, and then when we come back, I'll either be at the merchant or back here, ready and raring to go with some hopefully new duds. So, not duds, but equipment. So, anyways, thanks for watching. Like I said, next time we'll come back, we'll take care of the rest of this upper part of the Undead Burg. Hopefully, we'll get through to the boss. That won't be a problem, and then go from there. So, all right, thanks. Have a good one.